The last thing I wanted to ask you was more about the online media in America that you're a part of. It seems for a long time the right had dominated that space, but it does feel like there's a movement at the moment that the left is coming up. I find right and left a bit arbitrary, but we know what we're saying. With like, the Joe Rogans and the Tim Pauls and the Dave Rubins sort of starting to come down a bit, and like, yourself and the Kyle Kalinskis and the breaking points, well, half of the breaking points starting to rise. Is there a feeling within your kind of online community that this is a bit of an era for the left, or are we not seeing it over here? Is this because it's my ecosystem and I'm only seeing you guys, or is there an upswing in America?
I mean, certainly, I think I know that my viewership has increased. And I think that's like, there's a certain ebb and flow to this, right? Like when you're in the opposition, particularly, against Donald Trump, people get more, attuned to politics and, become more invested in it. I still think like the right has an advantage. There's just a lot more money behind them than on the left. And,
Yeah.
I don't know how that's corrected because, it's hard for me to think of the scenario where I would take the money if it was offered to me by, I
Peter Thiel.
Well, but I would never take it from Peter Thiel. But even if there was like, a Democratic a think tank, or a Democratic version of the Heritage Foundation, or a Democratic version of Peter Thiel, I am less inclined to take that money probably than they would on the right.
But we just saw that, didn't we? Because there was that whole situation with $8,000 a month, and Brian Tyler Cohen and David Packman were caught up in that. Isn't that basically what you're saying? You'd struggle to find a reason to take that kind of money?
I would. I mean, I found that whole thing. I mean, look, I am happy that there is money going into building out a, even if it's just like sort of Democratic, normie Democrat, influencers or talkers or whatever it is. I'm happy that there are resources available because it's needed. I think that enterprise did it in a very stupid way. And certainly like, for some people, it was the only way that they were going to survive. But, I think they should have, if they needed that money, they should have made it clear to their audience that they were taking that money so that it doesn't harm their credibility. I think the whole enterprise with those was really stupid. And, if I had that kind of money, I would have done it in a very, very different way. Gotcha. One that would have like actually built out, their audiences. I would say instead of $8,000 a month, I would say to them, I'm going to spend $5,000 a month on advertising your show on whatever platform you think is best, you want to grow in. And I will help you grow. And then I will take the other $3,000 a month that I was going to give you, and I'm going to create an infrastructure to help you. So use clips. Well, I'm going to send out an email every day, and it's going to have 20 clips, and you'll be able to just pull them, and it's going to save you time. I mean, that's the way I would have done it. Nice. Like the way that it was done, I thought was just garbage.